All right, we are live on YouTube, but more importantly, we're just talking here. And this is going to be a video about the budget coming up for the budget vote coming up for 2020. Most of us have probably figured out by now that we can't get together for congregational meetings. So we want to make sure that we get all the exact information out to people. And one of the ways we want to do that this year is by having Lance, who is kind of the liaison from the finance team and the chair of deacons, but more importantly, the liaison from the finance team to talk about the budget. And so we set up the Zoom meeting today and recording it and live streaming it to YouTube at the moment to explain the budget proposal for 2020. So obviously, thanks, Lance, for being willing to do this. And I'll let you take it away.
All right. Thank you, Pastor Mark. Like you said, I'm here to go over the budget briefly. And then afterwards, after you watch this video, there'll be an opportunity to ask any questions you might have over the next week or two before we vote. I'm going to look at the sheet first that says revenue analysis. What we do is we calculate how much offerings and other income we expect to receive during the fiscal year, which is July 1st, 2020 through June 30, 2021. First, we take the actual amount of receipts that we receive from the calendar year, and then we adjust that based on any changes that we expect. On that sheet, you can see during 2019, we received 484,000 and some of receipts. And then the changes we've made, the first line there, that 484 includes the temporary gift that we started receiving about 2 years ago. That's been received in full, and we won't receive any more from that this coming year. And so that's been subtracted from what we received last year. Then we have a couple adjustments for people who have left Calvary and also for new members who are coming. Typically, every year we lose some and we get some new ones. And so we adjust based on those. The last item there says stepping out in faith. We've added 15,800 to our expected revenue. And I'll get back to that in a minute or two, to explain why we did that. But for now, so the total receipts we expect for the coming fiscal year are $487,160. And so that's the number that the budget was based off of. So now if we look at the other sheet, which says proposed budget at the top for the year ending June 30, 2021, these are all of our expenses. The first column there is the budget that we approved last year about this time. The second column there is the amount of the budget that we're proposing for 2020 to 2021. I just wanted to highlight a few items that that have excuse me, that have changed a fair amount. Lots of them changed a small amount, but some of them have significant changes. The first item there, the third category, salaries, which is our staffing expense. The second line item there says health insurance, and you can see that that's increased from 5,000 to 8,200. The reason for that is in the past, there's been a government subsidy available, and that subsidy will no longer be available going forward, which means that the amount that the church has to pay for the same staff health insurance will be increased, we expect, by about $3,200. One other note on the staff salaries, besides the cost of living increase, we were also able to increase the paid hours for two of our staff members. Pastor Heather has been increased from being paid for 20 hours to being paid for 28 hours. And our diaconal liaison and coffee spot administrator, Sarah, has been increased from 20 to 25 hours. Both of those ladies typically work more than their allotted hours that they're paid for. And we're blessed this year to be able to show our appreciation for that by actually paying them more closely to the time that they're actually working. The next item there in the outreach section, down about 10 lines or so, is missionary support. The church has decided to support two missionaries Hope Speaks First, and also Jesse and Yari Rodriguez, $2,000 each per year. We've decided to make that part of our general budget. And so that line item is a new item this year. And then last at the bottom, the ministry shares, particularly the denominational ministry shares. Last year we budgeted $18,000. This year we struggled quite a bit, excuse me, with how much to budget for the coming fiscal year. Because of the decrease in revenue, we had originally expected to not be able to pay as much in ministry shares as we had in previous years. But then we look back over the last 4 or 5 years, and we realized that in almost every year, God has blessed us financially to the extent that we almost always beat our budgeted denominational ministry shares. And so we decided this year to reflect part of that in the budget. And so we set that at $18,000 again, same as last year. And that is why on the revenue sheet that we first looked at, we have the line item stepping out in faith. So normally we would have budgeted using our normal processes in the past, we would have budgeted $15,800 less. But this year we want to have our budget reflect more of what we expect to be able to pay based on our past history of exceeding our budget for ministry shares. And so we've proposed $18,000. As always, we don't know what we're going to be able to pay. We expect God will continue to bless us beyond what we always expect. And so this year, the budget reflects that a little bit more than it has in the past. Lastly, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the budget approval process that we'll be going through. You're watching this video sometime before Sunday, March 24, May 24, I expect. We will be having a Zoom meeting after the service on the 24th. And at that point, you'll have an opportunity to ask any questions on the budget that you have. There'll be a number of finance team members there available to answer those questions. I also expect if you can't attend the Zoom meeting or aren't comfortable with a Zoom meeting, you can email your questions in. Go ahead and email those into the church office and we will get those answered for you. And then last, the actual voting process will be a little bit different too, because we can't meet in person. There'll be an online form, which we will email out to everyone who uses email, and we'll ask that you vote online whether to approve the budget. Those who do not know email, the ballot will be snail mailed out to them by post office with a return envelope so that you can vote and return your ballot to us by mail. And we're hoping to complete the vote by June 3rd.
The only other thing that we haven't talked about so far is the Christian education budget, which is also, Lord willing, going to go out with the letter, and that'll be a separate line item, separate actual budget completely with a separate vote that comes from the Christian education team, and will be voted on again, hopefully in conjunction with the same process, although it is a separate budget item proposal from the Christian education team. I think that's it. So thanks. That presentation, I'll just say this verbally, the presentation was really good at deacons in it, or at the elders, and it really was helpful at the elders and deacon meeting, the council meeting. So it's really worked well. You have a gift for being able to share that well. So thank you so much.
No, I appreciate that. I don't feel that way as I'm doing it.
I know what that feels like. Oh, all right. I think that's it. So we're going to sign off of YouTube here in a minute. All right, that's done. And then I guess we're good. So thanks again, Lance.
All right, sounds good. I'll figure that it's finished then, but let me know if you need anything else.
I'll let you know if I can't fix it in post.
Okay.
All right. Talk to you later. Yeah.